Okay, this is just a little bit of my history, since I have a marriage license, before the children were ever born, I had a marriage certificate and I have a marriage license certificate, because I had broke my leg at work when I was at these apartments. And it really felt like slavery, because I drove from city to city, working jobs and studying music and art at different places. And when I would go to those different places, studying music and art and working jobs, I did not make a single mom or a single mother, and the rent was always paid. And I told the girl not to go to work. I told her not to work because, since having a marriage license, the girl is supposed to be my wife, that was with me in the apartments. It wasn't supposed to be somebody else pretending to be my wife or another person pretending to be my wife or something like that. No. So I really don't know, like, what would be going on with the other people, that wanted her to work somewhere else or something, or be somewhere else or something. I don't know. Because, having a marriage license and, being married is legal, It's supposed to be your wife, being married. And if, you know, the way it was, the way, the situation, since I was actually studying music and art and learning how to produce and have my own, skill, and I was learning how, you know, to make videos and music and stuff like that. And I wasn't out having sex with different people and getting girls pregnant or making them have abortions or trying to hide the pregnancy and stuff like that. No. Since I was actually being honest, you know, and this was all before I was 21 years old, because the marriage license, you know, it says, that I wasn't 21 years old when I got married, and, I provided an apartment and a place for the family, and, I don't know what other people may have influenced the family to do something else or something like that, but it wasn't my idea, of course, because, I wasn't even 21 years old, you know. I am 38 years old today, though, so, it's more than 18 years later, and, it's crazy because, being abused and used and, forced to have to drive all of those miles from city to city just to have a job, just to work, just to try to provide for a family, because for some reason, the people at the store, where the girl had wanted to go to work at or whatever, I don't know why she wanted to work there, but, I wasn't trying to force anything, but they told me that I couldn't work at the store that she worked at for some reason. Like they wanted me to be out of town or to be outside of the apartment or to be somewhere else, you know. It's like they did not want me to be with her or they didn't want us to be together or something like that. So it's like they would always make a reason or an excuse for me to be miles and miles away or just somewhere else when she wasn't with me or I wasn't with her. And, you know, I would always, you know, try to, you know, have evidence of, you know, myself, of course, like as a husband, you know, not being lazy, of course. And so, like, this video is like evidence itself that I learned how to produce and do production and stuff like that. So, I actually was studying and stuff like that. And I was also studying religion and different gospels and different books and stuff like that, you know. And a lot of it was like homeschool and online and stuff like that. And no matter how many times I went here or there and came back, you know, I never had a outside girlfriend or outside baby mama. You know, whenever I went to the hospital and came back, I never went into the hospital and came back and was like, that's your baby, that's your baby, that's your baby. Like, what baby? You know, the way that a girl would get pregnant and have a baby and tell you it's your baby, but it's really not your baby. It's someone else's baby. And she would go somewhere and do stuff with other people and get pregnant and have a baby and tell you it's yours, you know. Well, I never did any of that type of stuff because, you know, more than 18 years later, you know, from the time I was 20 years old, according to the marriage license, to the time that I'm 18 years later, you know, 38 years old today, I never made an excuse or any, you know, false statement about my sexuality or my sexual activity because I was never quite able to finish the job before or after I got a marriage license with anyone outside of my marriage, you know. So unless someone been pretending to be my wife or someone did something they wasn't supposed to do, I really don't understand like why any of those people were ever being mean to me because all I have is a history of working and trying my best, you know. Even though my body has damage and bruises and scars and stuff like that, you know, there's evidence that I still kept trying to work, you know, and I never thought bad thoughts about my wife, you know, because I would always say I am married. But I have been told that some people, something about identity theft or check fraud or some kind of paperwork, somebody tried to change stuff on there. So I don't know when any of this stuff ever actually happened, but sometime between here and there or there and here, I was told that, you know, somebody may have pretended to be my wife and she was not, you know. So it's crazy because as a mental health patient, you know, I don't really know everything about everything, but it's kind of confusing. But, you know, this video, you know, is a video, you know, about how I would work and how I would travel from city to city, you know, just to make sure that the rent was paid and that, you know, a family had a place, you know, for the children and stuff like that, you know, because the girl was pregnant, you know, when I moved in. And I wouldn't want to be a deadbeat dad, you know. So that's why I did it.